before as well. London Broncos finished off their very impressive season with a 46 points to 6 victory over the Featherstone Rovers down in Ealing.
Yeah, great season for London.
Superb.
Big win to polish it
And
off.
they're stacking that squad with some players as well ahead of next year as well.
Yeah, it looks like Soward isn't going to be one of them, though. I don't think the contract demands can be met by the London club for next year.
Perhaps not. But I believe they're picking up Jared Samet as well.
Oh, wow.
So, you know.
Reasonable replacement.
Yeah. He kicks out on the full a bit more than I think Jamie Soward does. But we'll see. Anyway, we got some contributions in from some of our London stalwarts. Paul Campbell, he said, a solid performance from the Broncos. I felt Rovers lacked desire today. They committed a few schoolboy errors. Gutted for the team not getting to the £1 million game. At least it's a stable end to the season and the future looks good for next year. Aaron Smith got in touch. Nice to hear from you, Aaron. He said London and Soward were top draw today, playing with real confidence. 46 points to 6 was a great result to end the season. Looking forward to next season already. The £1 million game must be their minimum goal for 2017 to keep progressing. Chris Macy said, really pleased with the way we rounded off the season. A dominant display from 1 to 17, even when we went down to 1 interchange. Ben Halliwell's breakaway try after we stopped Fev from doing the same to us, and Thackeray's conversion attempt were the highlights of the afternoon. On to 2017, he says. So what does that mean for standings in the middle eights, Mark?
Well, it means Leeds end as the top side in the qualifiers. More importantly, though, Hull KR versus Salford in the £1 million game as Huddersfield retain their Super League status.
Okay, into the Championship Shield then. It was the semi-finals weekend. Bradford were 36 points to 22 winners over Dewsbury, and they will go on to face the Sheffield Eagles, Mark, in a final after the Eagles were able to get a 32 points to 46 victory away at Halifax. So, not 2 weeks after having defeated the Eagles by 80 points, we will now play them in the final of the Shield. So,
anything could happen with
Sheffield are probably going to win, I would say. Toulouse in League One took on York Knights, shorn of players and any hope of promotion. It was Toulouse 62, York Knights 10.
Which is a remarkably good scoreline to achieve with a team who only could put 12 players on the field at all in York. Obviously, a few lads have decided, if we can't go up, let's go on our holiday.
Yeah.
But which is a shame.
It's a shame to have the rug pulled out from under you, especially when you've been through a season.
Well, they knew
like
this already, and actually, after it was mentioned, I remembered that it was part of the. We'll let you play games that you should have already played. We'll let you fulfil your fixtures. We'll do what we can to help you secure new backing, but you can't go up.
You can't go up without a ground.
Yeah,
fair enough. So Toulouse will face Barrow in the League One final to see who will take the final place in the Championship for next season after the Cumbrian side defeated Doncaster comprehensively 46 points to 6. NRL Finals Week, Mark. My Sharkies booked their place in the big game with a 32 points to 20 victory over the North Queensland Cowboys.
They were brilliant, weren't they?
Fantastic
in this game.
Side, yeah. Really looking forward to cheering on in the grand final.
So what did you make of this performance then?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's part of a backlog of things I'll need to catch up on. So I only know that they played very, very well indeed.
Yeah, they were good. They were good value. Colin Render got in touch. He said Sharks too strong for Cowboys, probably as a result of the epic battle the Cowboys had in previous weeks. Swimming onto the final though for the Sharks. Just keep swimming. Yeah, like
that was a very unenthusiastic. Just keep swimming.
Sorry, is this a thing?
Yeah, it's from Finding Nemo.
Well,
I know. That's why I'm teaching you. Yeah, Dory says it in Finding Nemo.
Or in Finding Dory?
No, she said, well, more so in Finding Nemo. That was the first one. And
right.
Just keep swimming.
Okay. Well, yeah, no. The Broncos game obviously did take something out of the Cowboys, but what wasn't helped is that they had to defend for almost the entire first half. Right. Not to spoil the game too much for you, Tom, but you know.
That's okay, I know the result, Mark.
You know what we're doing, We're doing a podcast where we talk about the games that have just happened.
I haven't in any way intimated that you shouldn't spoil it for me, so carry on.
But basically, the Sharks had all the possession, all the position in the first 40 minutes, and it was so hard for the Cowboys to overcome that, even with a bright start to the second half. It was just never going to be enough, and to be honest, the scoreline in the end probably flat as the Cowboys a little bit, because they managed to grab a couple of late scores after the Sharks were in celebration mode. But at half time, the Sharks were not, like, the scoreline, if anything, reflects how good the Cowboys' defence should be credited for not letting the Sharks score more points in the first half, rather than. So if it was like 22-10, it probably would be. I don't know, a fairer reflection maybe, but the Sharks were by far the better side.
And they'll be joined in the grand final by the Melbourne Storm, who were 14 points to 12 winners over the Canberra Raiders, Mark.
This was so unfortunate for the Raiders, really. Edric Lee, he's got rid of his high tower and his powers have diminished as well. He doesn't seem to be able to catch a ball.
Like Samson shorn of his locks.
It was so close yet so far for the Raiders, and both the English boys had good games. Hodgson with 45 tackles, Whitehead with 40 tackles, a try assist. But the Storm never looked like they were going to lose it until the last 5 minutes, but the Raiders just didn't have enough composure. They had all the ability to attack and create situations where they might win the game. They just didn't have the composure to actually win the game.
Right, there you go. So
Colin Rendy said, another great game in the NRL playoffs. Storm seems to find a way to win these tight games. Storm versus Sharks final. Surely some kind of Sharknado poster or montages should be made up for this final. He did send a poster image of the Sharknado film poster with obviously inside a storm, sharks flying around. Yeah, it's quite witty.
It's quite
better than the Finding Nemo thing.
Yes.
For me.
Well, there you go. Right. Give us a feel of the Eels, Mark.
Well, it's not really the Eels, is it? It's the London Origin series, but Aaron got in touch, fills in on what's been happening down there. So the competitive London Origin series ended this weekend. It went down to the last kick of the game with the North under-14s just missing out 26-22 to the South. Great game though, like I say, every second counts. Well done to the South. They take that under-14s 2-0. I'm sure Aaron will fill us in on the whole range of results once he's had a chance to catch up on that. He had a busy weekend with the lads this week though.
It will have had a busy weekend. Right, that is the world of rugby league well and truly covered. We'll take you into the future now as we bring you our predictions for the semi-finals of the Super League. Okay then, Mark, it's semi-finals weekend. The season is coming to a boil quite nicely, and we'll start on Thursday night as Warrington take on St Helens down at the Halliwell Jones. I'm going for a Warrington win, I think, on the back of the way that they mustered themselves into winning the League Leaders' Shield and their performance against Hull, coming up against a side like St Helens, who are as error-prone as they are, despite their winning run. I think at home, with that Warrington crowd vociferously behind them, Warrington should end up coming out on top. I'm going 30 points to 18 in favour of the Wire. What say ye?
The hoodoo's got to end, hasn't it, in terms of what Saints seem to hold over Warrington at Warrington.
Yeah.
These things, they don't really exist. Players can break them, certainly, and I think the Warrington team showed an ability to break the chokers tag last weekend, and I think they'll do that again here, and I'm backing them to win a narrow one, though, maybe 24-16, so a bit closer than what you've pegged, but Warrington for sure.
There we go. Friday night down at the DW. There's only one place to be if you're Mark. Your Wigan Mob take on Hull FC. I've gone back and forth with this one over the last sort of 24 hours with news of injuries coming out and things like that. And I've decided, in fact, I've gone back and forth with it in the last 5 minutes, really. I've settled on you guys winning 26 points to 18. Your injuries notwithstanding, Hull's season just feels like it's deflating for me, and I just think that psychologically maybe they can't rev themselves back up again, and that's going to be the difference maker, particularly with you guys playing so well offensively in the last few weeks as well. I think you're going to get around the edges of this Hull pack and be able to create enough to come out on top. So that's what I'm going for. I
think our forward pack can probably match this side down the middle, and maybe the key will be how we react to if they get their offload game going like they did in the semi-final. But I'm hopeful that semi-final side didn't have John Bateman and... Oh no, Bateman was back, wasn't he? No, he wasn't. Was he? I can't remember now. No, he wasn't back, was he?
What, in the semi-final?
He was back. He
was back, yeah. He played. He was one of your back players, in fact.
Farrell wasn't in that side, was he? And I'd like to think that combination is a winning one with how well they've both been playing recently in that back row. I think with Williams and Gelling, there's a lot of potential for making things happen. I think Josh Charnley's played really well all year and will be playing for England if it weren't that he was deserting us.
Certainly.
I would say. So I think there's enough in us to beat this whole side. I don't buy in quite to what you're saying about they're not going to be able to raise themselves. I almost think for Hull psychology, losing the Leaders' Shield might be the real reality check they needed, because no matter how naff they'd been since Wembley, they still had that opportunity to do it in the last week, and maybe they still sort of felt like we're the cup winners here, we're good enough, we can do this. And now maybe they realise they have to put a bit more concentration back into the game, and that might be a factor for them. But I just feel like Wigan. Well, I'm not going to start backing against them here now.
Of course you're not.
25-18, because I always think Matty Smith likes a drop goal.
Does like a drop goal, yeah, Matty. Right, there you go. Probably the biggest game of the weekend, certainly in this hemisphere, though, will be between Hull KR and Salford over in East Hull this weekend. The losers will be relegated to the Championship and all that entails. I'm just going to go with home team advantage. There's not a lot between these two teams really in terms of how I view the way they play or their efficiency this season. You might give the edge to Salford based on the fact that they're there because of a points deduction, but the squad of players therefore that they have should have been doing better in the Middle East than they have done. So I'm going to go for home team advantage and go with Hull KR by 10 points. Yeah,
I'm going to go with Salford. I think they've got the better roster.
Okay.
So I think they should win, and I want to take the mental side out of it and just go with on paper. I think they've got enough to beat the Hull KR side by 2 to 3 scores, and the home advantage equalises out some of that, but not all of it. I think Salford will win by maybe 8 points.
Okay, there you go. Right. Championship Shield game of the week, Mark. Well, there really only is one since it's the Championship Shield final. Bradford take on Sheffield. As I mentioned earlier in the show, we beat these 80-0 the other week, so Bulls by a drop goal.
I would expect Bradford to win. It seems like they've taken it upon themselves to actually focus on this.
Of course,
end of season jamboree.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
Of course they should focus on it. That was it. So, yeah, there you go. Bulls by a drop goal. League One Super 8's game of the week, Mark. Toulouse versus Barrow.
Yeah, that's second promotion spot, and I'm going to go with to win.
Yeah, to win by 20 to 30 points.
We'll see, but
so
I think it might be closer than that. I think it might be 14 or 16 points, but Toulouse will win.
I don't think Toulouse will come anywhere near to having the kind of performance they did at home against Rochdale, and I think they will want to really storm this one, so I expect that they will win big. NRL Grand Final weekend, Mark. Sharks versus Storm. Of course I'm going for my Sharkies. They played remarkably well, I'm led to believe, in the semi-final. So I'm going to go for them by 6 points against Melbourne.
I'm backing you up on this. I'm going to go with the Sharks, to be honest. I didn't think I'd be tipping against the Storm all final series, but last week they got away with one. Now, I don't think they'll concede the errors that the Cowboys did to give the Sharks as much territory, possession, position, control of the game early doors. But I do think that the Sharks possess such potent attacking weapons and some similarities in terms of big lads who can get offloads away that the Raiders had, and they've got a lot of excitement in that three-quarter line, haven't they?
They do, yeah.
The Sharks, and I think that's what's going to edge it for them. I think you'll score a couple of late tries to win this game,
and that's going to be massive for Cronulla, isn't it? As well, we talk about Wire saying it's always there, and their long wait for a title. That is equally as true for the Cronulla Sharks as well, isn't it? So
and there have been a few near misses in the last 20 years or so, haven't there? So
yeah, absolutely. Okay, that is your Super League pod for the week. All that remains for us to do now is to wrap up the show. Right, episode 119 in the bag. The Rugby League season draws ever nearer to its exciting climax mark. SLP recommends this week. What have you got for us? You've been